Well, welcome to the first Coffee with Kerry. This is a passion project born out of a separate passion project from 2020 when me and my partner Chad Brown started a short-term rental business here in Hot Springs on Mount Riante. In that 2-year journey, I learned a lot about small business and researching small business. And it led me to this that there were some other people that my trials and tribulations of getting to starting this small side hustle would probably need some guidance because I know I did when I started it. So I'm going to start hosting a Coffee with Kerry one day a week and tell a little bit about the journey from corporate America jobs and everybody needs a college degree to figuring out that, hey, you may not need a college degree and you may need to research and read and start a small business. Um, when I was working in corporate America, there was a guy, um, John, I'll leave his last name off, I'm sure he'll watch this, that was going to start a coffee shop in Arkansas a good 10 plus years ago. And we had all heard of Starbucks, and maybe there was a Starbucks around, but not a whole lot of faith in a coffee business going. But John did what I've done over the last 2 years, which was lay the foundations to getting into business. And he started to volunteer at the church. They had a coffee bar at a big mega church, and he ran it for a couple of years to learn how to do that business. Because his end goal was kind of my end goal, which is to create a side hustle that you're not dependent upon someone else for a job. Um, Eventually, he had a couple of locations and it went over really well. And he's doing good with the business to this day. He does Facebook Live, and you see him on there serving coffee, even in the period of the troubles, because I don't think you can say that and get any of this stuff not striked on YouTube or Facebook. But 2 years ago, I started reading and researching, and over the course of these videos, I'm just going to talk about the books that I've read and kind of hopefully give someone else the gentle nudge that maybe they need to join the other 30 million Americans that own some form of small business that employs 10 or less people. So basically, 1 in 10 people in the population has a small business because I think there's a little over 330 million. Now, for me, I grew up in small business. My parents' family had had a small business since the 1920s. There's been three or four of them, but it wasn't it wasn't Star Trek to have a business. But today, we push our kids. Our kids are trained in high school to go out and be a factory worker like they're in the 1950s or 60s and trained to hopefully go get a college degree where they can be a part of middle management. And that is a path to, their future. And for me, I'm not saying for everybody, but for me, that never worked. I never felt my soul edified working in corporate America, and I knew that I wanted to start my own thing on the side. And that led to a couple of years plan to exit my corporate American job and go into sales. And it took a little while to find the right sales job, but sales is about as close as you're ever going to get to having a small business without owning a small business. But eventually, this led to building a few properties here on Mount Riante and starting a small business. the the biggest thing I read that got me going, which is in the title of this video, is Rich Dad Poor Dad, and my dad is poor dad. If you've never read the book, I'll leave a link in the description below. It's worth the money and the read because what he talks about in that book is educating yourself to do a business and understanding about money and currency and wealth. Um, Money is not a store of wealth. Currency has the word current in it, so it's got to be moving at all times. And the only way to real do that is to have small businesses. The he dissuade you away from the stock market. I'm not going to really get into that, just to tell you I don't have any money in the stock market. But it provided a path and a framework that set me to reading, and there'll be other things I post on here. I'm just gonna, post why you should watch or follow along with, that was really instrumental in helping me as part of my journey into small business. There's about 1,200 people on my Facebook timeline right now. Most of them are racers. Most racers, I would bet as close as 50% of them have small businesses. I'd love for people to, post up various things that's helped them along their way. Um, and, just kind of to follow along here, not hoping to grow a YouTube channel of any size, just going to give back. And there'll be two or three people that fall in line here and, get something out of this. But I'll have more as the weeks go on, and it'll get more refined, and I'll edit a little bit more. But right now, I'm just throwing it out there, raw and unedited, and enjoy, my mistakes and my successes as I go forward here in this business, and tell you about how we got here.